Test 1 2, check 1 2. So, yes, I appear to be live. Hopefully, someone will show up and let me know. But welcome. Let me check my phone and see if I am actually live on my other channel. Let's see what we got. Check 1 2, testing 1 2. Are we live? DJ Ware, hello. I guess we are live. Welcome. Surprise, surprise. How are you, DJ? Hopefully a few others will filter in. This was another one of my famous spontaneous let's go live without any warning streams, because I wanted to share some of what's been the follow-up to some of what's been going on here in the studio and in the house. Especially since now I finally have, if you've been following along with me, I have finally done the migration. Well, it's 90%, 95% done. And I figured I would share some of the footage. TVJ redid his network Friday night. He did it live in a collaboration with Jeremy, which was pretty cool. Mine was a little bit more extensive, so I didn't want to really tackle it live, but I did have a camera rolling the whole time, so I was able to cut together some highlight clips and just put a fast forward reel together. So I thought maybe I would take a chance, go live, see who's all available today, and share that highlight reel. And maybe just like narrate over what was going on during the process, and then kind of give an update as to where I'm going with it next. So hopefully a few more people will come in. Otherwise, it's going to be a very personal stream between you and me, DJ, which is fine by me. I'm looking at the comments. I'm going to see if I can get the comments on the air, because last time when I went live last week, I had issues with that. So give me 1 second. Let me see if I can get the comments to work this week. So let's do this. And let me copy this. I see that you are redoing your network as well. Love to hear more about what you're doing. Are you going to be doing any kind of movie, video highlights or anything like that? Or we'd love to see it or hear more about it in the chat. Bear with me. I am just trying to see if I can get the comments flowing again. Last week I had an issue with H2R graphics, so we're going to try it again. Now, I'm not sure if it's something I'm doing with... So I have two projects in H2R graphics. I have my own project for when I go live, which has been very rare as of late, but I also have the project for the sports show. Now, last Saturday when I went live, the sports show, the comments did not work for my project here, but Wednesday night when we went live with the sports show, it did. So I'm not really quite sure what's going on, but we're gonna see if it works this week. So let's put that in there and say add data source. And it connected this time. Woohoo! So let's see. Let's open on. I'm not sure which screen it's going to open on, so bear with me. Hey, I hit the right one. And let's go to here. And let's go to social. And let's see what's going on. Let's see if I could pop these on the screen. And let's put this on. Oh, hold on. I gotta fix the key. Yep, it's been a while since I've done this on live. So let me fix the key. Hold on a second. So that is, which key is that? That's on air. Not that one. Okay, key 3. Give me 1 second. Let me fix that key. Key 3, pattern. Hopefully that'll fix it. Let's see. Yeah, there we go. Let's see if I can bring the comments on the air now. There we go. All right. Well, it's working this week. Not sure why it wasn't working last week. So DJ says, I'm replacing older network hardware with GrandStream. Okay, way to go. But so that means new access point and new satellite switch. Main switch is Aruba and pfSense is my router. So assuming you're keeping the Aruba switch and the pfSense router would be my guess. Which GS GrandStream switch are you getting? Put it in the comments. That should be a cool upgrade. Awesome, awesome. Let's see who else is here. Hey, Joe, welcome. I know I caught you by surprise again. The last two are legacy. Let's see what we got going on. Hey, TVJ, welcome. 7811P and the 7665. Give me 1 second. The garage door is going up. Let me just let my wife know what I'm doing so she's not screaming up here. And give me 1 second. Okie doke. Thank you for your patience, folks. I just wanted to update her because she was out and had no idea that I planned on going live. So, see? So, Joe, I didn't even tell Lisa. So don't feel left out of the loop. The fact is, I am live, so that's a cool thing. All right, so the 7811P, I think I have, do I have that switch here? Let me pull it up online and see. Let's see what we got going on. Okay, and let's move this up here. The 7811P, let's see which one that is. By the way, can you hear me okay? How's the audio? How's the video? Network switches. 77. Which is it in here? Is it the layer 2? 7801, 7806, 7801. So it's not those. 77 series 77. Is it a layer 3 switch? Which one did you? Yeah, 7811P. Okay, cool. The one I just put into place, which you'll see in this highlight video that I'm going to run for you guys, is the 7816. That's the 48 port switch. So you got the 8 port, I believe, is the 7811P. Good, good, good. Very cool. Let's look at the specs on that real quick for everybody to see. 8 gigabit Ethernet ports, two 10 gig SFP plus ports. Very cool. By the way, the 10G Tech transceivers, the 10 gig transceivers by 10G Tech that I was using on my Ubiquiti switches work perfectly on the GrandStream switches. So FYI, if you have them already, they do work. So smart power control, support dynamic PoE plus. Yep. Supports deployment in IP6 and IPv4. ARP inspection. Yep. All the same features, just different amount of ports. Cool. Very cool, DJ. Awesome. Congratulations on the upgrade. All right. Let's see what else we got. You're very surprised that I'm live, TVJ? I was wondering what that noise was. Yes, I did. But then I thought you kind of got it resolved by changing the actual subnet configuration by only allowing your WAN ports. And that I think, that's a good solution for the guest network. It's not something I would want to do for other VLANs, I think, because then you can't really allow certain things to pass if you wanted to, if you're only allowing that subnet to go out to the internet only, right? So let's say, for example, what I'm talking about is I have all my TVs on my IoT network, but I have the main NAS that's running Plex on a different subnet. So in this case, I need to allow access between those two VLANs so that I could create a firewall rule to allow the TVs and just the TV groups to access the Plex server on whatever specific port. But for the guest network, what you're talking about doing works perfectly fine. I don't see any reason why not to. So DJ Ware, reach out to me before you make the purchase, because I could save you a little money over retail, and I could have the stuff shipped right to your house when you're ready. So, okay. How's everybody doing today? Started out to be a really nice day here today, and now it's raining. But we need the rain, and I'm kind of happy because yesterday I dropped fertilizer on the lawn. So, perfect that it is raining out now. So, all right. And DJ says, thanks. I will keep that in mind. Anytime, my friend. Anytime. All right. So Friday of this week, TVJ did a collaborative stream with Practical IT, Jeremy over at Practical IT. If you haven't seen that stream, check it out. TVJ was brave enough to do his network migration live, and Jeremy was producing using StreamYard, which was pretty cool. I was planning today was the actual day where I was going to rip my network apart and do my migration. But knowing that Jay was going live Friday night, he kind of inspired me to want to get it done. So I took on that project Friday when I got home. Took me about 4.5 hours. I started at around 1:15. I was finished by 4:45. Well, 90% finished. So I want to share with you today. I had a camera rolling the whole time. I didn't want to attempt it live because it was a little bit more extensive of a migration than Jay's network. So it would have been just too much to try to cover live, but I had a camera rolling the whole time. And I just cut it up a little bit, put together a couple of minute highlight clip for you to share with you. But it's all, obviously I fast forward. It's very fast so that you don't have to sit there and like watch the whole thing, but you'll get the drift. And I figured maybe I could just navigate through it, and kind of tell you what's going on as it's happening. So with that said, I'm going to roll that clip now, if it's okay with the two of you. And I don't know how long I'm going to stay up online. I mean, it could be a very short stream, but it's just something I wanted to put together and share out. So here we go, and I'll kind of keep you in the loop as to what's going on and what was going through my brain as the whole thing was taking place. So let me roll that clip. Let me just make sure it's queued up and ready to go. By the way, audio okay? Video okay? I'm assuming, because someone would have said something by now. But yep, it's ready to go. All right, it's a couple of minutes. I mean, even though I cut it up and I fast forward, you got to realize it's 4.5 hours condensed into a couple of minutes. But we'll try to get through it, and hopefully you'll have some comments or questions, and we could address those at the end. So here we go. All right, so that's the original rack there. I'm just starting to dismantle it all. I'm just taking out the edge router. I got the three Unifi switches there. Interesting, I'm having an issue with that 10 gig switch that I'm taking out of the rack now. One of the transceiver modules, I can't get out. It's not releasing when you pull down the little lever. I'm not really quite sure what to do or how to get it. I know they say don't force it, because you can not only damage the transceiver but also damage the port on the switch, which I don't want to do. So I guess if I end up selling that switch, I'll keep that in mind price-wise, and the person will also get a 10 gig transceiver as well. It's an RJ fiber to RJ45. All right, so you can see I'm just disassembling everything here. I thought I sped it up a little faster than this, but that's okay. I'll go through the comments as we go. Hey David, welcome in. I'm just decided to go live and share my network upgrade, and I'm going to narrate through this couple of minute video clip. TVJ says you should post the time lapse as a standalone video with music. It might get some good views. I might. I was thinking about that. So I do have it saved on the desktop already, so it's probably something I'll do. I have to step away for a couple of minutes, but we'll be back. All right, no worries. So, all right, so we're disassembling everything. What I'm taking apart right now, those are the amplifiers for the outdoor speakers. We got one for the front pair and one for the rear pair. And I swear I sped this up faster than this, but I don't know. I can't scrub through it because it's playing through the hyperdeck. So just sit back and enjoy. So the wall rack is mounted. So the bolts are on the other side of the wall inside the attic. So fortunately, I wasn't sure how I was going to get it off the wall if I was unscrewing the bolts on from the inside the attic, because I didn't want it to fall and just like hit something and break. So fortunately, Lisa came home just in the nick of time. So in between her coming home and going back out, she was able to come upstairs, and there she is. Help me. So she's holding the bolts on one side with a pair of pliers, and I'm on the inside now. I'm in the attic, and I'm loosening up the bolts inside the attic. So fortunately, like I said, she came home just in the nick of time. and she just holds it in place for me, and then I come out and I take it off the wall. So that was good. And she was concerned that, you know, we said goodbye and we kissed each other. She says, "Is that going to be on film?" I'm like, "Yep." Here I'm just spackling up the holes, and I'm using a credit card as my spackle knife, an old credit card. Now, what I'm doing now is I built an 8-inch base to put the rack's a 27U rack, but I'm putting I didn't realize the camera wasn't capturing here, but I just put in the base, and now I have to lengthen. Fortunately, I have a service loop in the back, and I just pushed through some wires that I had run 12 additional ports at my workstation. So I pushed those 12 wires through, and now you're going to see I'm going to bring in the new rack, put it up on the pedestal, and now I need to go in the back in the attic and let some more cable out, because it's a deeper rack, so I have to get more cable out so that I can get the patch panels attached to the front of the rack. So you might hear a little drilling here. I definitely sped this up when I did it in DaVinci Resolve. I'm shocked that it's not going faster. But you can see now the cables are dropping a little bit. Fortunately, I had a service loop in the attic. Even though when I did put this network in 3 years ago, I was like, this rack's never getting moved. So I don't really know why I need a service loop, but something just said to me, keep a service loop in place. Now I'm leveling it. There's leveling adjustment feet on the bottom of the rack, so I'm just getting it leveled on top of the case, or on top of the platform that I built. You'll see the platform in a minute. It's just 2x8s with a piece of plywood on top, and I spray painted it black, but it's doing the job. So now I'm just putting in a rack shelf, and you'll see I decided to change my mind midway, and I took it out and put a deeper one in. That's, I think, only a 10-inch shelf that I put in there. I put a deeper one in. You'll see in a minute why. And you can see I'm thinking about how I'm going to format the rack, how I'm going to set the rack up as I'm building it. I did try to draw it out on paper and, you know, design it out ahead of time, and I came up with something, but then in reality I thought, you know what, I'm just going to build it as I go with the gear that I have and see how it all plays out. So I did it just on the spur of the moment as we were going along. Obviously I had an idea, but all right, so you can see here I realized that the shelf I put in isn't deep enough for what I want to do. So out comes the patch panel. I drop it down a little lower, and then out comes the shelf, the 10-inch shelf. And oh no, did I change it? Let's see. Thought I changed it at one point. Yep, now I'm going to change it when I realized that it wasn't deep enough for the DS2, the two Bose amplifiers. So now I put the deeper switch in. And now I'm putting the rack ears on the 7816 Plus. Heavy switch. I was fortunate to use the screw gun. If I had a screwdriver doing this by myself, it would have been a real pain in the ass. But anyway, hope you guys are enjoying this. I like the way it came out. I have some cleanup to do at the end as far as wire management in the back of the rack, but my goal on Friday was to get the old rack down, get the new rack in, get it all up and running, and make sure everything was working. But the most important, you see I'm thinking, like, what am I going to do next? The most important thing was making sure the wife had TV that night. Otherwise, I would have probably been sleeping in the dog bed with the 4 dogs. So what I put on the top rack are the 2 Bose amplifiers and the GCC 6010. Then you can see on the bottom shelf below the second switch, so I have the 7816 as the top switch, and I have the 7816P, and I have the 7803 on the bottom underneath the second patch panel. Below that I have the UCM 6302, and then I put another shelf down below that and I have a shelf for the DS1621 Plus and the DS216 Plus 2, and now I'm putting another shelf below that. I didn't realize, again, I was getting cut off. My apologies. The other shelf was for the other two NAS. I have the DS920 and the U-Green. I just put the Edge router up top. I'm leaving it in the rack but not plugged in, just as a backup so that I could fall over. Should something go south with the GCC, I can get back up and running pretty quickly. And now I'm putting in the UPS, the CyberPower UPS. I have 2 of them. So we're making progress. The 12 wires that I ran for the workstation ports, you see them hanging off to the right over those computers. I haven't terminated those yet. That's why I say I'm 90% done. I got to get those terminated. I got to wire management the back of the rack. But I really like the way it's coming along. I ordered those. What I'm doing here real quick, and then I'll tell you what I ordered. I'm determining based on where the ports fall on the patch panels, how I'm going to allocate them to the switch based on what VLANs those ports are on. So I have you see me reading. I created a spreadsheet ahead of time. It took inventory of everything and what's on what VLAN, and as I'm going along, I'm setting the actual ports on the switches before I fire up the whole network. So it was a little time consuming to do that part, but it worked out in the end for me. Oh, so I was saying I bought those Monoprice slim Cat 6 patch, little half-inch patch cables, so everything looks a little bit more uniform, hopefully. So yeah, it's coming along. Let's go back to the comments for a second. Oh, Joe, sorry. Can I mute audio from the video? I don't know. Tell me if this mutes the audio from the video. Sorry, I didn't see that. Is that better? Let me see. No. I thought that would mute it. Hi, Michael. Oop. Okay. So I guess that was it. I didn't see. So, sorry about the audio, Joe. Welcome, Michael Berg's been a while. Nice to see you. Rack is very clean. Thank you. Appreciate that. So that was my project on Friday. Like I said, that took me about from 1:45 to 4:45 to get done. It's not completely done. I got to get in there and wire manage all the electrical and things in the back. I ordered some more of the Monoprice slim white patch cables, a little longer than the 6 inches. I want everything to be uniform white. The only thing that's going to be different are those fiber cables that are patching the GCC to the 2 switches. So Jay says, what switch did you install again? So on the top of the rack, I installed the core switch is the 7816P. That's the layer 3, 48 port. It's got, I believe the first 8 ports are BT, PoE, BT, PoE, and then it's got 6 SFP plus ports. So that eliminated the need for that extra switch, the Unify aggregation switch, right? So that switch is taking on multiple responsibilities. I may never use the layer 3 aspect of that switch in this network, but I bought it because I think I said in the last stream, I have the other 48 port switch that I originally bought, the 7806P, but it was loud as hell. And even after changing the Noctua fans, as you all guys know, I did the video, we talked about it in the Friday night stream. When Bob Carpenter suggested changing the fans, well, I already did that. It didn't quiet it down. In fact, it wasn't functioning properly. Some of the fans were spinning, some weren't. One was spinning slower than the other. So I'm not quite sure if GrandStream has something hard-coded on the board to expect certain fan whatever criteria or requirements, but I put the original fans back, and the switch is fine. It's working. It's never been racked. It's never been used other than trying to change out the switches. It was just super, super, super loud. So I ended up buying the 7816 on Jason from Jason's Lab, his recommendation, because he said he has had the 7806P, ran into the same problem I had, tried to change the fans, unsuccessful. He ended up buying the 7816P, and he told me how super, super quiet it was. It was right in the rack next to his, where he records, and he says you can't hear it. So I went on his recommendation, and it is super, super, super quiet. So made a good decision there. So. Remind me what backs up your what and what is your editing device. Remind me what backs up your what and what is your editing device. My editing device is the Mac Studio. That's where I edit my videos using DaVinci Resolve. The videos are stored in RAW form and final edit on the DS1621 Plus. So I edit over I edit over the network, over the 10G connection. So the Mac Studio is connected to one of the SFP Plus ports on the 7816P, and so is the DS1621. So got the 10 gig transfer speeds going between those two. So I edit that way over the network, if that's what you're asking. I think that's what you're asking. Hello, Robert. Welcome. On the switches, the CLI gives you control over the fans. Jason and I tried to go into the CLI to at least get the status. I honestly, Robert, am not the most strong. That's not my strong. My skill set is not that, right? So to go in and to know what to do in the CLI, I would need some help with that, like somebody who is obviously like Jeremy or DJ Ware, or obviously yourself, I guess. I would need a little guidance on that. So, but it's good to know, and I thank you for that. Maybe it's something to consider. Maybe I can get some use out of that switch after all. But it's still loud as hell, unless I am able to adjust with the other fans in place. We'll see. Something to definitely keep in mind. Thank you for that. Jeremy, welcome. That's okay. Appreciate you being here. Oh, I got you. What backs up what? Like you have 3 or 4 Synology. All right. So, okay. I got to think about this because some of it I use for real and some of it I use for demonstration purposes and learning purposes, like a lab situation. So the $920 is I back up my photos, which are stored on Synology Photos on the DS1620 216 plus 2. I back those up to an external drive using USB copy, but I also back them up to the DS920 Plus using Hyper Backup. So that's that. have an rsync backup going between the Ugreen and the, forget which Synology it was, but that was just for demo purposes, just to kind of dabble with rsync and end up making a video on it. It's really not backing up anything significant or mission critical. Like if I deleted that backup task, it wouldn't really matter. I have all my computers backing up to active backup for business, and which is being run on the DS1621 Plus. And I'm trying to think what else I got going on. Right now, I have my goal is I want to take one of those Synology devices and put it in my sister's house so that I could have an offsite backup solution in place, if that makes sense. So hello, Oro, I think that is. I'm not, is that it? Oro, welcome. No apologies for going off topic. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I'm probably not the best guy to ask this question, but I'm sure there are a few people in the chat that could better give you some recommendations on this, as it's just not something I do or on a regular basis, and it's not something that I haven't dabbled with it in a while. So I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not the best person to make a recommendation for you. I couldn't tell you really at this point. I've been a little out of touch with that. But it's a great question, and hopefully there might be somebody in the chat here that might be able to help out. But welcome. Thanks for being here. Hello, Dick Rooney. Welcome. Hello, Ashley. Welcome. Thanks for joining. So that's pretty much really all I wanted to do today is say hello, share what I've been up to the last couple of days. I'll be happy to entertain a question or two, but I don't have any dire need to, stay on for an hour and a half, that kind of thing. I just wanted to let you know what's going on. Where am I going with this network now that it's done? So I have the GCC in place. I have the 7816 Plus as the core switch in the rack. I have the 7803 in the rack. Then right next to me here, I have the 7802P in the AV rack next to me. I had a 7801P on that workstation, but as soon as I took it out, because I have the 12 ports there on the wall that I showed you guys last week in the stream. As soon as I get those 12 cables terminated and put in the rack, those will be live. They'll be good to go. So I don't need the switch just sitting on the workstation taking up the space, the real estate space. So that's what's going on there. And by the way, Dick, if you're still here, I will see you tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. This is our confirmation, so I don't have to text you later. So let's see what else is going on. So that's what's going on with the network. So I'm Grand Stream at the router, I'm Grand Stream at the switch level, and I'm also Grand Stream at the access point level, which I've had the access points in place for 3 years, but they're Wi-Fi 5 access points. I have two GWN 7630s in place, GWN 7630s and a GWN 7615. I'm hoping to replace them for Wi-Fi 6 access points. I'm thinking I'm going with the GWN 7665s, but I'm only going to do two, I think. I don't really think I need that third, but we're going to see. We're going to test it out with two, the wires in place, but I think I'm going to be okay with just the two. Fan speed on the CLI, Robert says, fan mode _ force fan speed low. Okay, I mean, I'll look into it, Robert. Like I said again, my skill set's not the greatest there, and some of the feet, one of the fans wasn't even spinning at the time. So like, I don't know, but we'll definitely check, maybe something to look into. Like I said, maybe, Jeremy or TVJ. TVJ is pretty slick with the CLI. Maybe he can give me a hand. One of those guys can give me a hand one time. Did I swap out my access? I see. Nope. Well, I just answered that. And then you said, oh, you just answered that. So, Wi-Fi 6. Yes. Let me see. Let me bring that up. I'm not going to go to the 7s, although I will tell you, I like the look of them. I've always been a moaner and groaner over the size and format of the Grand Stream access points. They are big and they are bulky as compared to the Unifi access points, which obviously you all know that's what I originally used to deploy. So let me just get this up there. So yes, they do have Wi-Fi 7. But honestly, I mean, the only devices I have in my house right now that even do Wi-Fi 6 are my phones, my phone and Lisa's phone. So if I move from 5, and I really don't even have to move from 5, but I just want to stay in that upgrade loop pattern, But if I move from 5 to 6, I'll be happy with that. So let me switch over to here, get the comment off. So let's see, indoor access points. So here are the new 7s right here. So let me just, if you look at, well, you can definitely see the difference. And if I grab a Grand Stream access point to show you what I mean by the bulkiness, hold on one second. Okay, so let me just flip back to full screen for a second. So here it is. So it's just got a very, it's a bulky unit. I think it's a bit much, personal opinion, for residential homes. Like when I first started pushing it, I was a little concerned about, let me switch back. I was a little concerned actually about a homeowner's reaction to that, but they haven't seen, no one seemed to say anything yet. So, but the new Wi-Fi 7s are very streamlined. They look very much like another competitor that we all know and either love or hate, but they're very, very streamlined. So, and I believe they have 2.5 gig ports on the back. But what I believe the 70, here's a 7664E, which I believe, I'm not sure if I have one coming or if I have the 7664 coming. And then it's interesting because this, the 7665 is listed as the 7665, yet this is the 7665 that I showed you here. And on the front of it, it says Wi-Fi 6E. So I'm not sure if they did away with this model and now are just selling the 7665 without the E. I'm not sure, but that should answer your question. All right, let me go back to the comments. Robert says, I had to set this on a new GWN 7832 since the fan went on too high. Once I filled a certain number of ports, that's absolutely right, Robert. Once you start putting PoE demands on it, like multiple access points and a couple of phones and anything that requires PoE, yeah, the thing screams. You're absolutely right. The temps are the same on low as on high speeds. Interesting. Thank you for sharing. It's good knowledge to know. TVJ said, I would love to help you with your CLI fan issues since you helped me with well, I'll take you up on that, TVJ. I don't know that that's going to be anytime soon because honestly, I have that. It's sitting in the box. That's going to be like down the road when I really have, because I don't have a use case for it at this point. But just sometime in life when I have absolutely zero to do and I have nothing to mess around with. Yeah, maybe we could take a look at it. The 7670. Oh, that's the one. That's the Wi-Fi 7 we just showed. Cool. So, and then, yes, Joe, you're right. My Macs, well, maybe the newest one, maybe the laptop, this one here. Does the Mac Studio, my Mac Studio is like the original Mac Studio. It's about 4 years old now. Does that do Wi-Fi 6E? I'm not even sure. Let me take a look at the specs. Not 6E, but 6. Let's see. Wi-Fi, do. About this Mac. Maybe it does. It's from 2022. I thought it was older than, it's only 3 years old. System report. That's what I was looking for. Let's see. Not that you guys can see this, but let's see. Well, that's great. Oh, there we go. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Look at that. Okay. Cool. Who would have known? Who would have thunk it? All right, so I have 3 devices. No, 4 with this laptop. But in any event, definitely don't have anything that supports Wi-Fi 7 unless when we change out our iPhones, which at this point we have really no reason to do. They're under 2 years old. I'm sure the new iPhones have it. So, in any event, that is correct. Yes. So is the one I have here, Michael. It is tri-band, correct. If I remember correctly, Haley's phone is only the device in the house that can do Wi-Fi 6. Check the MacBook, either 6E or 7. Okay, let me take a quick look. This one I'm not going to be able to show you on screen, unfortunately. But don't say anything about the glasses change, Joe. Actually, what I am considering getting, hold on, here we go. Definitely 6, not 7. So, unless I'm missing something. But in any event, so what I'm buying, Joe always gets a kick out of my glasses change. So what I'm going to invest in, well, I need it for when I work. Terminating cables is becoming harder and harder from a standpoint of I can't see the friggin' things and there's not always sufficient light where I am. So what I'm getting is maybe not in pink, but I'm getting like, I'm going to order a pair of the dental loops, like the dentists wear and the hygienists wear when they're like looking over you, and they have those things coming off their glasses. Um, I had a dental cleaning on Friday or Thursday, and I was talking to the hygienist about it, and she's like, "Well, don't, these are the ones we wear are like $3,000, but the original pair I had are on Amazon. They're under $100." And I tell you, if they help me doing my job, then I'm going to definitely invest. So the GWN 7832 is the aggregation switch. Yes, 12 SFP plus ports. I did not see any reviews on it, but I've been impressed along with the other GS switches. Yes, I haven't seen any reviews on it either, Robert. But like I said, I have 1, 2, 3 GrandStream switches in service. I've had the GWN 7801 in the lab for months. I've installed the smaller 8-port managed and unmanaged GrandStream switches for clients, and they're just rock solid. They work. I know you do, Ash, but I'm not getting pink. Yes, no, I'm not kidding, Joe. Change the company name to Dr. IT. That's not a bad idea. I should change the YouTube channel to Dr. IT. Maybe I'll get more views. I'm telling you, YouTube has like buried my YouTube channel out to pasture, but I still have fun with it. So, okay, 51 minutes, 8 concurrent viewers. At one point, we had almost 15. 10 likes. Oh, we just went to 11 viewers, 10 likes. I like that, Dr. IT. But at this point in my life, I'm not going to start changing things unless it's changing it to literally retire and stop doing this stuff. But I'm not ready to do that either. So, but that is a great name. Damn it. Oh, well. Listen, folks, thank you so much. Appreciate it. I know this was unannounced. Hope you liked the tour of the network migration. Everything is working. I will, before I do go, I will say this. I had the scare of my life yesterday because when I came up to the studio, everything was working in the house after the migration. In fact, I kept sitting there Friday night, and Lisa kept saying, "What's on your mind?" And I kept saying to her, "What's on my mind is the fact that everything is friggin' working. Like, I expected a disaster, right? Like, not a disaster, but I just didn't expect everything to go smoothly. Like, it was, for me, I consider that a pretty extensive upgrade. And yes, I did my homework ahead of time, and I prepared, and I documented all my networks and which ports are on what VLANs and yes, I did do my prep. But listen, I've always said when it rains, it pours, and I've always said when it rains, and I'll use the rated G version, not the rated R version. If it's raining pouring dogs, I'll get hit with a cat if I stepped out into the downpour. So I just never expected this to go as smoothly, but it did. But I kept sitting there Friday night going, something's got to be wrong. Something's got to go wrong, or something's going to go wrong. But it's been working, so I'm happy about that. Although yesterday I did have a scare. Came up to the studio, sat down here at this desk, and did a network speed test wired. And I was getting 35 down and 25, 30, 40 up. And I'm like, what? Especially on this computer. What the heck? So then I'm thinking, maybe that transceiver really isn't compatible. So I go to the network settings on the Mac, and it's showing that the hardware is only connected at 10/100. I'm like, wow, it doesn't make any sense. Automatic. It was working. It's been working prior to the upgrade. So then I went from automatic to manual, and I set all the settings manual, 10G, jumbo frames. I set to match on Grandstream jumbo frames is 9216. So I matched it on the Mac, 9216. All right, that's got to be it. I close it down. I do the speed test, and I'm getting the same horrible speeds, like dial-up speeds, if that. So I was like, okay, did I hose? Is my 10 gig networking adapter in the Mac Studio hosed? And if it is, I'm screwed, because like it's an all-in-one device, and I can't afford right now to spend another $3,000 to replace it. Then I realized I have the Sonnet external enclosure with the DeckLink Duo cards in there, but it's a 3-bay enclosure. So I also have a 10 gig card in there. Because before I got the Mac Studio, I was using the Sonnet enclosure with the Mac over on the workstation, which didn't have 10G networking. So I had bought a 10G networking card. So I said, all right, let me use that, unplug the Mac and plug it into there. And I was getting the same dismal speeds. And I'm thinking, okay, so now it's obviously not the networking adapter inside the Mac. What the heck is going on? So long story short, I'm changing ports. I plug the Mac. So now I take the Mac out of the transceiver on the switch and just plug it into a regular 1 gig port. I want to rule out the transceiver. And I come and I do a speed test, and I'm still getting like dismal, same thing, like 30 and 30 up, 30 down kind of deal. And I'm like, the heck is going on? So I said, for shits and giggles, I'm going to change the cable, the patch cable going from the Mac to the wall. And lo and behold, son of a gun, that's it. That was it. Now, coincidental? Enough to drive me crazy, I guess, but it was working before the upgrade. Like, I had no speed issues on this Mac with that cable prior to doing all the work back there. How does that have anything to do with, how does what I did back there in the closet have anything to do with that cable? Did it just happen to go bad right when I made the network switch? Obviously. So that was my scare. That was my, like, I was like, holy crap, no, I just spent all this money on the network. I cannot have to buy a new MacBook, a new Mac Studio at this point in time. So change the cable. We are back up. The speeds were flying. And so I was happy about that. The other reason why I wanted to do this stream today was to test before this week's show. Even though we're not doing a live show tomorrow, Wednesday, we're doing a pre-recorded show tomorrow for Wednesday. The CEO of the NJCAA, I believe it is. Let me bring it up. Hold on. Yeah. So this right here, the CEO and president are from the NJCAA. So it's the National Junior College Athletic Association. They've been, obviously they work in conjunction with NCAA. It's just for junior colleges. They're having some negotiation issues with NCAA right now, with transfers and the portal and NIL and things like that. If you follow sports, you know what I'm talking about. And they actually reached out to us because they're in the midst of it right now, and they actually reached out to us if we would do an interview and air it. So I couldn't make this Wednesday live. I'm not available, so we're actually pre-recording this interview tomorrow at 3 p.m. So I'm excited about that. But I wanted to make sure that everything was working from a mission control standpoint, and I'm glad I did, because I had to restart. Like, the HyperDeck wasn't connecting to the ATEM Studio, the ATEM 2ME, so I had to pull the plug and hard cycle the HyperDeck. And so just like little minor things. like that, but everything's working. So this was also a test for that as well, and I figured I'd share with you what I've been up to. So on that note, smooth upgrade, so very rare. Enjoy it. You can't retire from YouTube. Yep, have seen that on Mac Studio. DJ Ware says, so yep, did the same thing, went manual. The ghost is Unifi fan, or it could be Meredith. So I had a similar cable issue when I unboxed my new gear. Yes, I remember you talking about that. It's ironic. I had the same exact thing happen. So on that note, thank you all for being with me. We've been streaming for an hour. Hope you enjoyed the highlight video. It was fun to hang out with you again. And we will see you all next time, whenever that may be. Take care.